DIYers, we are wired, we are ready. And of course, just judging by the thumbnail, you know that we are joined by a very special guest, a very experienced, multi-talented guest that I have the pleasure of calling a friend of mine, somebody that I am so grateful to have met at this stage, even though I wish I met him significantly earlier in my career when I was dealing with the shenanigans of this music industry. But I am joined here none other than Iman Omari. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Iman Omari.
What up?
Look, man, first and foremost, how are you doing?
I am great, brother. You know, it's another day. Ready to talk a little bit of, you know what I mean?
We've been trying to do this for a long time. We've been having conversations offline, just kind of like reacting to a lot of the stuff that's happening in this industry of independence in general, and just really a lot of the questionable head-scratching decisions of these music streaming websites. And the more we talked about it, the more I was like, bro, beyond your own experience, which we're going to talk about, your background, beyond all of these things that you're knowledgeable of, like, the people need to hear this, because I am only one story. I have my journey, you have your journey, and I learn something from you every time we get on the phone call and we talk about this industry that has shifted so much. But let me go ahead and turn this music down a little bit. Shout out to Stolen Drums in the background. Man, shout out to him. So first and foremost, let me just go ahead and acknowledge the chat. I know y'all are still making your way in here. Matter of fact, I will do some promotion as we get in here. But there's a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm just honored to be in here with you. So Iman Omari has had, I don't want to spoil your introduction because I want you to make the introduction, but it's had the opportunity to work with the likes of the Ty Dolla Signs, the Kendrick Lamars, one of the most talented producers, talented singers, talented just artists in general, because I've seen you play many, many different roles, and the music is always like home cooking. It's always sounding like home cooking. And this is something that, especially in this current landscape where folks are they're redefining and rehashing up or bringing up conversations about culture, I feel like your music is just as important as it's ever been, if not more important now. That's why I start these streams off with the likes of folks like Stolen Drums, because I feel like y'all are the backbone of a lot of the music we end up falling in love with as folks who love this culture. With that said, for somebody who's hearing about Iman Omari for the first time, what can you tell them about yourself, sir?
Well, my name is Iman Omari. I am originally from Compton, California. I'm a producer, singer, songwriter, DJ, whatever in music that you would like for me to do, I'm going to do it anyway.
Right. He like, I don't even give you a choice of the matter.
Yeah. And yeah, man, I just like to look at myself as a reputable guy from LA that is putting it down for, LA in the music scene. And yeah, man, I'm an R&B guy too.
Yeah.
Thuggish R&B.
How would you kind of describe your sound for somebody who's getting introduced into your world? How would you kind of give the elevator pitch of what your sound is?
Well, when I was coming out originally 10 years ago, a lot of people were saying I was one of the guys that coined the term vibe. I wouldn't say that per se, because there's Bob Marley's and there's these types of people that already was talking about the vibe. But during that time, as far as like in my generation, nobody was really talking about vibe and good energy like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So basically, I would say, like, if you've listened to, just to make it easy for you, if you listen to a Jay Dilla, if you listen to a Madlib, as far as the production, you know what I'm saying? If you listen to a Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway, Layla Hathaway, if you like Sir, if you like all these people, I'm kind of like an amalgamation of all of the dopest sounds.
Right.
I think that's the best way to say it.
That's a great way to put it, too. That's a great way to put it. How much do you feel like growing up in the different regions that you have grown up out here has influenced your sound? Because I listen to your sound, and I don't, you listen to certain folks and they only sound like the sound of the region. I think you've been able to incorporate so much soul from the Midwest. You've been able to incorporate even some East Coast elements in some of the drums that I hear sometimes. And even your singing style doesn't feel like it's held down by a specific region. Even though we know based upon the topics, based upon the way that you approach these records, we know where you're from. But
Right.
how do you feel like growing up in these regions have kind of like influenced the sound of your music?
Well, because I lived in New York for 5 years. Well, to be specific, I lived in Newark, New Jersey,
I
but
didn't
that's
know
right
that.
across the water. Yeah, that's right
Okay.
across the water from New York.
Yeah.
So being from LA, which I feel like is the mecca for production, I got to go to the opposite side. The guys where the mecca of hip hop is and lyricism to me.
What
So
if you don't mind me? I don't want to cut you off. Why do you say that that's the mecca of you said of production, right?
yeah, well, LA is the mecca of production.
Right.
Right.
I was
I say that
yeah.
LA is the mecca of production because if you just think back in the day, as far as what we were hearing, a lot of the New York producers were really sample heavy, which I'm not hating on because I
Sure.
sample. But if
Same.
you talking about like the Dr. Dre's and the Battle Cats and the Jelly Rolls out here, they were sampling, but these cats know how to play. You know what I'm saying? They have some musical acumen, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why I say like a lot of the cats that was on the other side, when they were hearing that LA production or the West Coast production, it was a different thing. It was real crispy, wasn't as dirty. Not saying that the dirt is a bad thing.
Right,
But that's
right.
the reason why I feel like if you really a producer and you trying to be on that level or notice that somebody that's on that level, you got to come out here to get that musicality,
Sure.
to be around some of the best.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And it's crazy because we're in a time. I don't mean to cut your original point off. I just wanted to elaborate on that because I think people are still so surprised when I tell them the stories of when I was in the beat battle scenes with the DBI and just the beat scene in general, right? When you think about even like the producer, the boom boxes and all these different spots that housed an opportunity for the producer to be the center focus, that just wasn't a common thing around the States. And we were very, very early to that. Shout out to the Red Bull Big Tunes who put it a bigger stage, but like the Lamert Parks, the Beat Ciphers. The first time I ever met DiBiase was in one of those. First time I met Verbs was out there just on a whim going out to the Beat Cipher. But so much of the sound, man.
At Bananas, right?
That Bananas, yeah. Well, it wasn't Chaos Network, but it wasn't a Bananas night. It was at
Okay,
Chaos
got you.
Network, but it was the Beat Cipher. This is like maybe 2000, maybe 2006, 7. I don't know, but it's just an interesting time because so many of those names, like Ashtray Jenkins was in that spot. Man, I forget. So it was so many different names that were in there that went on to be amazing instrumentalists along the way.
Doja Cat, Kendrick Lamar.
Doja Cat's
They
another
both-
one. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Man, but I'm glad that you elaborate on that. So, I want people to get a background to understand just your experience and some of the people that you've been able to work with. Like it's so crazy. Your resume is so stupid. With all due respect,
Thank you.
with all due respect, I know I had to say that, but with all due respect, it is so stupid that I'm like, I didn't know you was producing, on some Issa Rae projects. And I'm just looking and I'm like, your music has been surrounding my life and the content that I watch and all these different things. And it's like, the thing I've always respected about you, and we've talked throughout the years, and we've had times where like we'll be like, man, let's just finally work on something. Let's do something. And then just, life does what it does. But one thing I've always loved about you is that your demeanor is very, very straightforward. And as I kind of alluded to in the beginning of this, man, had I had, a peer like you that's like, man, go in there, go ask for your damn splits, or go in there and make sure you make these niggas pay you. I think I would have a very much different perception of things. But what kind of do you think leads to that? Because I think a lot of folks have, these pre-baked notions or pre-baked opinions of what they think a R&B singer is going to be like or what a producer is going to be like. And they talk to you and they realize, like, nah, Mom don't take no shit. I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel.
Well, yeah, I think what it is it's kind of similar to like when a guy has Napoleon complex a little bit, right?
Okay.
It's like you feel like you have to compensate for something. So because I'm a singer, when you're an R&B singer, people automatically attribute that, I'll just say what the room is thinking, as you're a soft guy or a soft person, right? So when you think about most of the R&B singers, I promise you, when you meet them, these are some real thuggish rough and tough dudes, even
Right.
though they singing beautiful songs to women.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
man. And matter of fact, we were talking about it off camera. I don't want to, put what you said out there, but I think it still is the truth in that. Man, the R&B singers be the ones that's more tough and more problematic than the rappers, because it's like, no, we really got an issue. Don't let these high notes fool your ass right now. Like, I don't know what you thought
Bro,
this was.
did you watch the Omarion versus Mario versus? Did you look at
I don't think I watched that. That was one of the ones I didn't watch. What did you see?
Look.
What did you see from your vantage point that could give people a clearer picture of what you're talking about?
Well, look, so first of all, when you think about Mario and Omarion, you thinking Omarion gonna come out there doing this pop locking,
Right.
and Mario gonna float his notes. You know what I'm saying? But Mario was out there chastising Omarion, telling him that he sucks. Jeremiah came up on stage drunk trying to sing, and Mario in the back like, no, stop. You're
Right.
terrible. Yo, he almost got into it with Pleasure P. I
Yeah.
said, what is happening?
You
I
see
said,
the
this is
tension.
like,
Yeah.
it was like the Source Awards, bro. Like, I was like, this is crazy.
Man, and I remember like certain periods in R&B history where people were so surprised about some of the aggression they saw. Like even like with the R&B beef. Was Next like signed to G Unit at one point in time? It was some weird alliance they had.
It sounds correct.
I feel like 50 Cent might have put him up to it. Hey, you should sing that shit. How you feel right now? You should sing that. But it's like it's the truth of the matter in that you really can't let those preconceived notions kind of judge things along the way. But I think there are a lot of our peers though, and I want to hear your opinion on this, that are kind of like me in that even though I grew up in a region, even though sometimes my understanding of the region, sometimes my understanding of the ethics puts me in a place where it's like I don't got no OG to come back me up if I say some foul shit. I'm thinking the shit in my head like, you niggas is fucked up right now for what you trying to do in this scenario, in this studio session, the way you trying to finagle my money. What kind of advice would you give to those producers who get in these scenarios and feel like, if I speak up for myself, I can get booted out the room? I know producers who are absolutely terrified of having a conversation of splits too early and what that business may look like, and if they get booted out the room, will they ever be invited? Will they be blackballed? What's kind of your tips in terms of maneuvering in those spaces?
Well, the first thing I would tell a producer is I would quickly tell you to just not worry about that. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're speaking righteously, like you're going to be blessed anyways, bro. For real, for real. Because again, I've been in plenty of situations to where I was told I was going to be blackballed. You know what I'm saying? After saying something that was truthful and honest and fair for me as an artist and Iman Omari as a business.
Right.
You know? And I was told, you know what, you're never going to work again in this industry, blah, blah, blah. But again, the pendulum swings. People get fired.
All the
new
damn
people
time.
come working in there. And who's to say that the new person that comes working that same position is a fan of you now?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the person that was hating on you, they getting up out of there. So I would just play the waiting game on them.
Man.
Because if you know you coming from a place that is correct,
right.
Yo, no, man, let's do the splits. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to make sure I get, my fair pay for what I did. I did 50% of the song, so I just want to get that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And they like, nah, well, you on a song with whatever major high profile artist, so you need to just take the L. And what you tell them is be like, I would say this, just be like, the song won't come out.
Because you have that power.
Tell them that.
I think that's something that, and it's such a great point, because I think that a lot of producers don't understand the power they have being, at the helm of the music, being a very important piece. But I also understand the flip side, and that you see sometimes, some of these artists will be like, all right, bet, you want to be problematic? I'll get my producer to reproduce your shit.
Right.
How in that scenario would you alter anything according to that?
I would immediately go and register my songs on BMI and then wait for them to make the mistake of putting it out.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Let me switch my buttons back. My buttons been switched on me. Don't worry about that. Hold on. I was ready. I was ready to hit this one.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
But it was about to be Kodak Black instead saying, I hope so. And that wasn't going to hit the same way. It wasn't going to hit
took that one too. I would have took that.
It was going to be this one. It wasn't going to hit the same if I did that, but I'm glad I switched it around. Yeah, man. These are things that, once again, if you don't have a certain kind of clout or a certain type of voice in a room, it's hard to do that until you do that and you realize like, no, this is the way that you get shit done. Like you have to be able to stand on these things.
Well, you know what? Giving one thing I would like to say is that put some respect on your name as an artist. When you're working with these people,
right,
you have to treat yourself as if you were Michael Jackson. What if you were managing Michael Jackson?
mm-hmm.
Would you let some of these things fly by, or no, you about to nip it in the bud?
Right.
So you have to treat yourself like you Mike Jack.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like for real. Because I'm telling you, they will do anything in their power to make you feel diminished and belittled and all that, because then you're going to be docile and be like, well, I don't want to do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to continue to work with them. And they're going to leverage that over you.
Every
Look,
time.
if you just take a hit on this one, the next album will put you on there. And I can't tell you how many producer homeboys I got that were told that same thing
mm-hmm.
and never got on the next album. So that's why it's like, you got to get your stuff together now, man. Who cares about what they talking about? You're going to be blackballed. Business is business. There's literally a musicians union that you can go talk to. Right. There are music attorneys that you could go talk to get your stuff right. Don't worry about that.
And nowadays they got YouTube channels, and there's things that I'm like, bro, had it not been for like the message boards online, where are you going to get this information from? If it hadn't been for those early blog pages, where are you going to get this information from? So much of that stuff is readily available. But at the same time, I feel like that's equally made people more lazier, more producers more lazier about pursuing this information. With that said, man, I really want to start digging into this because I think this is a crucial part about why we're having this conversation today. I've been doing a whole lot of conversation, a whole lot of yesterday you heard my Daniel Ek diss song. Mm-hmm. You heard my Daniel Ek. He got 24 hours to respond. You feel me? I did that over to Meet the Grams beat because I was in
Spotify did.
I was in that mode. You feel me? But with that said, though, I've been on a bumper, and it's been interesting because I didn't know whose support I would have along the way in talking about these things, because a lot of folks have relationships with these DSPs or distributors, and man, getting those phone calls from you was really confirming, and it was good because I really was in a place where I was like, man, I'm not doing this to get the support of my peers, but if I do get the support of my peers, that's a blessing, and I'll gladly take that. But I had no idea how much of this shit you were dealing with currently, specifically with the scenario of how you're distributing your current album right now.
Yes.
Before we get into that, because the music is always more important, we're going to get on their ass. But can you talk to us about the name of the project, sort of the process and things about that? And I'll make sure they get this link in the chat as we talk about it.
Okay, so my new R&B project is called Saturday Morning Rise. If you look at the album artwork, there's these 4 different panels, which basically kind of represents Iman in the multiverse. Mm-hmm. So, I watch a lot of Marvel, and that whole multiverse theory, I kind of like. So with this album, I wanted to do my own version where it's me in these different universes with the same girl, but different outcomes, essentially. You know what I'm saying? So Saturday Morning Rise is just representative of the different things that I dealt with in these different universes as Iman with the same girl. So one song is called Sinking because, let's say, she broke my heart. Another one is called Special. I just met her at a party and I'm telling her, no, you special to me. You know what I'm saying? Let's link. So that's the whole thought process of that. But then, in the back of, the behind the scenes vibe is like, I sat and I mixed and mastered this whole project by myself in just under 60 days.
Hold on. Hold on. DIY. I just had to make sure that we gotta put some respect on your name right now. You talking about, I know you casually say these things because it's regular to you, but that's not regular to everyone to mix and master. And you were showing me like some of the records early on, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, how do you just wake up and decide I'm gonna make some shit like this? This used to be a situation where you needed 10 people in the studio to make something like this. Mm-hmm. You need a musician for hire and whatnot.
You know what it is for me? It's been out of necessity,
Okay.
When I started off in this, I was just a singer. I never wanted to make beats. I never wanted to be an engineer.
Really?
I never wanted to learn how to play the talk box. None of that.
Wow.
But out of necessity, because I want those things for my music, I was like, I gotta do it.
Right.
I gotta do it. I can't keep waiting on people and spending this $3,000 overhead to get the song mixed and mastered,
Bro.
and all of it, like that whole rigmarole, I was like, I'm done with that. I'm done with that. So I put it on myself, and let me tell you, it feels much better now that I'm in a place to where I know I could take my music all the way to the end. You know? Yeah.
Same thing.
And that gives you more power.
It does. It does. Because I remember being in a place where I felt so helpless waiting on any engineer. And this is shout out to, I've had some great engineers. The homie Star Lab, it was one of my first major engineers, the homie Jinx. Oh gosh, and everybody else. Like it's a blessing to work with people that know how to work with your vocals, and they got the presets ready, they're working on that. But you kind of feel sometimes as an independent artist, you kind of feel like helpless when you're always relying upon when they can get out of work, when they got time away from the kids, when they can get to your records as opposed to their own records. So learning how to mix, man, I'm still obviously learning every day, but this is something that I find really valuable at this stage because of the flexibility it gives me. With that said, though, you worked on this beautiful project, and we're going to play some music from it during this stream, of course. But during this project, as much work as it takes to do the work that we do, as much money as it takes at times, you would hope that the most stress-free part of the process is uploading the damn album. You would hope. But
exactly
in this time, in this era where it seems like, I'm going to just say it, these niggas is broke. In this time period right now, you see how I code switch real quick? Hey, these niggas is broke. Hold on. As I get back into my normal professional voice. No, in this time period where it seems like the distributors don't know what the hell to do. They're flagging songs. They're saying these things are fake. And in this time period where all of this, what you say? We say rigmarole. That's my favorite word right now.
Rigmarole.
With all this rigmarole that go on, you would think that's the easiest part of the process because we're trying to get the damn music to the people. But you're dealing with a headache right now that seems to be mirroring a lot of the stories I'm reacting to. Iman, can you kind of talk to us in specifics what's going on right now?
Gladly. So there's this company called Ditto Music, right? And they're a distributor, and they're just like a DistroKid or a TuneCore, which is already a mouthful. So after listening to countless videos and watching countless videos from you, Brother Curtis, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to DistroKid and I'm not going to TuneCore. Mind you, just for clarification, I was having an issue with another company, and I don't even care. I was having an issue with another company called Paradise Distribution, and they're more of a private distributor, right? So their get down is a little bit different. Just to make a long story short, they want to take 20% out of your split revenue, right? Or your royalty revenue for your streams, right? Cool. So because I'm having an issue with them, I was like, I'll just put it out on one of the public distributor platforms, right? Cool. So I ended up looking at Ditto. I didn't see too much smut on their name. So I was like, all right, cool. Let me just rock with them. So I turn in my album, ready to go, everything whipped and dipped, March 26th. The date that I put for release was May 1st. Okay. Right? Cool. But of course, closer to that time, let's say a week out from May 1st, I should be getting deliverables from them. They should be sending me a smart link with all of the different places it's going to be. It should pop up on your Spotify for artists, letting you know that you have an album coming out, all of that. Understand, none of that happened.
Wow.
None of it.
Wow.
Right? It was cool. I'm not hyperventilating. I'm like, let me just talk to them. Cool. So I hit them up in their portal on the app because they have an application. I was like, hey, Ditto, I don't have any smart link, just trying to figure it out because my album is about to drop tomorrow. So can you let me know what's going on?
And what's your demeanor through all of this? Because I'm sure, like, during that time period, bro, like, that's the last thing you want to have a hiccup on. I've delivered you the music. I'm an on-time nigga. I didn't send you shit on time. What are we doing right? I sent it to you the way that the parameters ensure that you can do your job to the best of your ability. And we're playing now.
I think my only issue, not even my issue, I think the reason why I had some type of, calmness about the situation is because, man, I done been fucked over so many times in this game. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So you grow a little bit resilient. Yeah.
It's a shame that we have to build that callus, but I understand what you're saying in the process. Like, you need it. You need that in order to be in this as long as you've been in this. and still have your
So
sanity.
exactly, exactly. So continuing on with the story, I'm speaking to some woman, we won't say her name because whatever, she's doing her job. So I'm speaking to some woman and she tells me 3 to 5 business days for my music to show up on Spotify. Because the issue is that I see the music in all the other places except Apple Music and Spotify. Now, the day that I was complaining about Apple Music and Spotify, Apple Music just miraculously showed up. So cool, no harm, no foul. Now we just need Apple Music. But as you know, Curtis, that's messing with the prowess of the project.
Yes, because
that's not how it works usually.
When you're actually somebody who knows how to market your music, you already have you probably even beyond what you write down, you probably have a pre-baked rollout that you know of, like, this is the way that this is supposed to happen, but I just need you to be on your best behavior, and I'm not asking you to do much except for the service I'm paying for.
Exactly. So cool. So 3 to 5 business days, right? I put out a message on my page, and I don't really come for Ditto too crazy. I just said something alluding to the leisurely efforts of Ditto distribution has delayed my project being out everywhere. But until then, it's here, and here. Cool. So the fans is like, all right, Iman, we rocking with you. 8 days pass. Okay? That's more than 3 to 5. 8 days pass, and I hit them up again. Hey, what's going on? The lady tells me again, we need you to wait another 3 to 5 business days.
You're hitting me up to tell me that the time that I've already waited is just to hear that I need to wait a little bit more time.
Yes, like, cool.
You don't.
But then,
go ahead. No, I was going to say this. I just want to make sure that I point out it's when I hear these conversations, it is so much more than just companies effing up, right? We know that these are ran by human beings. Most of them ran by bots now, but we know that errors do occur. It's the point to me that you're a business in which if I go to your front page before I sign up, there's a mission statement. There's who this service is for. You're laying it out that you're a business, a B2B. You're a business serving other businesses, and I treat you and I respect you as a business. If this happened to where you say, for instance, I worked in a sandwich restaurant in Carson. I used to work in Quiznos. So, I worked there with daylight, which is funny. But in that restaurant, if they didn't get their inventory a certain day, nobody gets that turkey ranch and Swiss sandwich. You can't operate business the same way because there's a wrench in it. And I wonder, how serious do they really take artists as businesses? Even though it's in their language, it's in their websites, how serious do you take us if this is the way that you operate when we're conducting business?
Well, understand, let me just be the first to say, they don't give a shit about you, right? Because here's the rest of the story. So now I'm hitting them up in 2 different places. They have an application where I'm talking to them in their little help sector, support sector, and then I'm talking to them on Instagram. The person I'm talking to on Instagram is giving me similar, pushback. But then they finally tell me, hey, so there's an issue with a certain song on your project with a feature. Do you know who this artist is? And they're talking about another comrade of mine that I grew up with who does R&B, Kenyon Dixon. Right? Cool. So I'm like, yeah, that's Kenyon's Spotify page. That's him. Is that was the issue? They were like, okay, well, we need you to send a letter validating that you're connected to this high profile artist. Hey, Ditto.
Right. Let me also make the same statement I made to you offline. They're talking to a high profile artist to get permission from a high profile artist. Like to me, it seems like, first of all, we were watching a Ben what's my guy's name? Ben Jordan. Ben Jordan did a video on YouTube where he was talking about the size of the staff of, for example, a DistroKid versus how many customers they served. And the ratio was so ridiculous to where it was like 1 person to every 5,000 artists was the kind of, I'm just throwing a number out there. But I imagine, especially after the pandemic, especially after, people have downsized because of where the economy is going. A lot of these companies are, operating with a really slim staff. However, that does not stop them from accepting payments every single year or every day when people sign up, because they still accept those payments and they still expect you to pay that. Whenever you don't pay your distro, kid, I have never seen so many updates on, like, I can't even, bro, look, and this is not me here to trash. I'm just telling the actual facts of what happened. The last 8 days, and I don't want to cut into your story, but I got to make sure I say this because I'm dealing with the same thing. The last 8 days, I've been talking to a fucking bot. Yeah. And I got contacts up there that I could reach out to, but it's like, I know I've been seeing some crazy shit on YouTube. So I don't know what what the temperature is, but for 8 days, and I finally got it solved. And all I wanted to do was downgrade my account. I didn't want to have to pay $280-something a year for a service that originally, when I went on there, was $19 a year. And they told me that I had to sign up for a lower tier and they would refund me. So I went and paid the $279 just to get back access to the payouts in the bank, to get the access to, my money in there, to get access to my team splits. And it's just like, it's way too many games.
You had to pay money to get access to your money?
I had to pay money to get access back, because what I'm doing, not to give too much into it because this is about you, but check this out. What I'm trying to do is, I'm not going to put my music on streaming at this stage. We're not at that stage. The stage that I'm at is just serving it to, like, the social medias, the TikToks and the Instagrams, so people can use it in their content. Once again, being a front face to push them to my direct-to-consumer website. But the fact that they don't have a downgrade button on the website, it sounds so minor, but that's such a problem where I can't pick a tier. Every website on earth, every website you can think of, especially if you got all these advancements in the wheel of playlists, every website got a downgrade tier. Why is that a feature you're adding 17 years, whatever amount of years they've been in the business? Why are you adding that now? So when I see these companies make such bold promises for independent artists, and you see these stories like yours that continue to pop back up, it's concerning. But please pick up from where you were at this stage. So you've communicated with them. They told you to wait a little bit longer. They're asking you to write letters in order for the artist to get the permission. Where are you at with it at that point?
Yeah, so they asked me to write a letter and have Kenyon sign it to validate that I am connected to this high profile artist. Mm-hmm. So, I'll tell you guys exactly what I told them. I told them, fuck you, I'm not doing that. And I was like, here's some text message conversations with the master for the song in there. That's as much as I'm gonna give you.
Right.
Because that's as simple as a screenshot. I don't mind that, but you're not gonna insult me though.
Yeah.
Because you're already insulting me, but you're not gonna further the insult.
For a service I paid for. For a service I already paid for. I'm not asking you to do anything that I have not paid for.
Mm-hmm. So I'm at this point. So which is unfortunate. I'm at this point to where I'm probably going to have to get all of the metadata, like the ISRC codes and the UPC, and I'm going to have to just transfer it to another place seamlessly. You know what I'm saying?
I've been looking. Have you already kind of gave thought to possible places that you would go to, or is it too early to tell?
Well, it's a little too early to tell. There is this one company I found out about called Venice. But they got kind of a steeper price, but I'm wondering if that steeper price means you're going to be more on deck. So they want you to pay $500 for the year. You know what I'm saying? So that's interesting. But I'm like, I don't know. Because, like, of course, I got all of these horror stories. So now I'm very hesitant. I'm dipping just a toe in the water at this point.
Right. No, and I don't blame you, because $500 a year, even though I know that we've talked about it, you do really well, that people show up to buy your music. And this is something I love, the fact that you actually still sell your music on direct to consumer. I've seen you at events, and you've got physical on hand, and you still make that investment. But I just look at this and I'm just like, I don't think they understand the kind of damage that they're doing to our era of distributing music by being this reckless, by acting like, you're just another number, when there are folks like us that have platforms where we share this, and this has a domino effect. And you could easily solve this. They've had more than enough time to resolve this headache. And the problem is that even if they resolve it after a stream like this, it took a stream like this, or it took the letters that you sent, it took the headaches that you went through, it took the other conversations I'm sure you had offline, just for you to do your fucking job. Mm-hmm. What are we doing?
Yeah, but you know what? The humbling part of it all is that, usually I'm just eating off of streams. I'm paying bills. We good, which is already a blessing within
Sure.
itself. A lot of people that I know that are phenomenal artists, they're not making thousands of dollars off of streams.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
What
But
what do
I
you,
was lucky enough to make it. But when I have these moments
right.
to where, there's a chink in the chain and I got to pay attention, I look at it more as a blessing because whatever I'm going to do is going to help a lot of artists.
Sure.
I already know
Sure.
because
Sure.
I'm gonna like put my foot down. Whatever power that I do have,
Right.
I'm gonna let it be known. You know what I'm saying?
So as things have kind of landed, where are they at now currently with the project? Like what are you still waiting on at this point?
Still waiting for it to get up on Spotify. It's everywhere else but Spotify. But that's an issue because Spotify is the top streaming platform. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what are we talking about? The majority of the money that I make from streams comes from Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period.
What another follow-up question to something you said earlier, what do you think has been the difference between you being able to make a profit? Because and that speaks to the kind of numbers that you're doing, right? That speaks to the fact that you're getting these checks that you're getting. What do you think has kind of been the difference in what you've done opposed to, some of your peers that you talk about that are struggling with even the essentials to try to pay it off of just purely streaming?
I think it has to do with back in the day, me doing things that they might not have been doing. I was going up to Spotify and meeting the editorial playlist guys, you know what I'm saying, and having a rapport with them. So much so to where, it'll be 3 years that I didn't go up there, but every time I drop something, it's getting put up on these really dope playlists. Because, and I would notice because it'll be like one day, let's say I just dropped the song, it made 5,000 streams in a day. That seems very normal for me. But then by the time we hit Friday, and onward, it's 25,000 streams a day. You know what I'm saying? That's because it's on them playlists.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that I'm any more special than anybody else. It's just about relationships that I have with people that are putting me in the proper places.
You gonna say that? You gonna say that? But your friend gonna make sure that you get put some respect in your name. You are a mutant. You are musically a mutant out in these damn streets. What you are doing is not fucking normal. You kidding me?
Thank you, man.
I listen to your music I remember we had a conversation because you were like, you were. That's something that I gotta give you. That's part of your personality is that even though you see sort of the murky waters, you're like, I know that I'll do something different in that environment. And what if the effect that I could make could have that domino effect that helps other artists who are going to go this direction. But it seems like the more we talk, the more that you're kind of like, it seems like you're opening up your perspective to different things where it's like, now I'm really am giving more thought to this. And I really do feel like it's going to be our era that at some point in time is going to come together in our own circles that decide like, no, we have to redefine the consumer relationship with music as it pertains to whether or not to buy it. Because if this indeed goes the direction it's going, it's my belief with direct to consumer that not everybody can go on this journey. It's going to be artists like yourself who create the fantastic music, mix the fantastic music that you do that will stand above all the other people who are trying to do it because they never had to go through a generation where your music had to mean something in order to get a step in the door.
Exactly.
Right? Like,
and yeah, man. And one thing I want to say too is that to all of the people that are independent artists, like, just please, I implore you, please learn a little bit of business acumen in regards to the music industry. Because if not, you're going to learn it the hard way, and that sucks.
Yeah.
Take it from me, because I learned my business acumen the hard way.
Yeah, you and I both. You and I both. People be like, why you got them bags under your eyes?
Right, exactly.
Business. Well, can you give us, because we've heard that before, of course, right? Where people are like, you got to get your business right. But I think you're so masterful at the way that you'll give the specifics. What are some things that you would tell an independent artist right now who wants to make sure that, they take care of the digital footprint, they take care of the things that are essential? Like, what are the top things that you would say for an independent artist, business-wise, relating to just the business, that you would want them to take care of before they even talk about doing any other aspects of their business?
Make sure you have a PRO, because if you don't have a PRO, then what are we doing? Your PRO is your license to make music. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you got your PRO. That's ASCAP, CSAC, BMI, whoever. They got more than that, but make sure you got that. look into worldwide, like what are the PROs, or what are the places that pay out in Japan? What are the places that pay out in the UK?
Right.
I think I heard about this place. I think it's called the PPO.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, they're similar to Sound Exchange. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm,
Don't quote me
mm-hmm,
on that, but
mm-hmm.
you know, I'll get you the information just in case you gotta give a link.
Sure.
But yeah, but I know that there's places that you can go figure out, like, oh, so my music played over here, I'm only getting the US money. They might have $40,000 for you in the UK that you never touched for a couple years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Again, I guess the simplest way to look at it is don't jump into everything just giddy about, like, I got my music done and it's gonna come out, because you don't know the worth of your music yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I made the song Energy, I thought it was an intro. I was like, this is gonna be the intro to my album, whatever. It's the most popular song on my album, and I had no idea.
Somebody's gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
So you had your Prince moment. You had your Prince moment where you like, I'm gonna just delete this. I think it was when doves cry. Nobody wants to hear about or Purple Rain. Nobody wants to hear Purple Rain.
Nobody wants to hear this song. Like, exactly.
I just throw it in the vault. Like, no, good thing you did make that decision, because that could be the biggest difference in it all. Because it is an interesting time now where we're all having my thing is this: no matter where people stand on the conversation, because some people are so like pro streaming, they hate anything I talk about direct to consumer. My thing is, at least we're having conversations, realistic conversations, practical conversations where people are asking the right questions, because that's how shits get started. If we could at least have a balance. If we could at least, even that's what I ask about with the quality of music that's out right now. I was talking to a buddy of mine, it's his birthday. We were talking about just his kind of perception of the whole Drake versus Kendrick Lamar. And he was like, we were talking about it. We're like, man, there was a time period, even in our era, because there was a time period where Fresh Prince and NWA was on the same Def Jam tour. That was a thing, right? There wasn't many touring opportunities like that for hip hop, so they combined a lot of those. So that was a thing. Even in our era, there was a 106 in Park where you're gonna see G-Unit or 50 Cent on the same 106 in Park list that you're going to see Slum Village and Kanye West. Like, that balance existed. So you could hear like these like soulful vibes, or these neo-soul artists that were in here at that point in time, and it was just a normal thing. Now it feels like it's so fucking lopsided. You don't even get to hear that unless you actually go and do some digging. So
here's the thing. Here's the thing. So right now, even tapping into that Drake Kendrick shit a little bit right now. Right now, I feel like the greater diasporas of the world believe that Drake can sing.
Uh-oh.
And I have a deep issue with that as a singer.
Wait, but that's supposed to be the advantage that he has over Kendrick, is that he can actually sing.
Exactly. And here's from a real singer. Hi, right here. No, the fuck he cannot.
Uh-oh.
So
now they're gonna be like, that's the real reason he brought him on. He just egging on this. No, you gotta understand that Iman Omari got a mind of his own. And he gonna always tell you, no matter who's involved. If it be me involved, he like, Curtis, you was dead ass wrong, and I'm gonna tell you right there. But I don't know a whole lot about the craft of singing to the degree. Like, I took singing lessons. Like, I used to go to Orange Coast College for a few years, and I just took up some singing lessons. And I quit when she had me singing what felt like close to Negro spirituals. I was like, why you got me in this all white class and I'm the only nigga singing birds in the sky, you know how I feel. Talking about, no, just more soul. I'm out this motherfucker. We not doing this. We're not doing this. You ain't finna have me singing birds in the sky. So I was the end of my singing career. At least, I'll pick up a note, but I don't know enough about the mechanics to know who's doing it right, because you can sing, Iman. You can sing. What are you hearing or what are you not hearing that leads you to that conclusion?
Well, there's a couple of things that lead me to that conclusion. One, I know as an engineer that Melodyne and Autotune is heavily involved in what Drake is doing, right? You shouldn't need all of those editing tools if you really could sing, number one. Number two, live, give him a regular mic, tell him sing them songs. Somebody tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it. Like exactly.
Somebody gonna have to tell the truth, and I'm gonna tell it.
I don't know for what reason I gotta say this too. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I pushed that
I'm just
button.
telling you. I'm like,
I don't know why I
put
pushed
him
that.
on stage with a regular mic, and he's not going to be able to deliver.
Mm.
Now they put T-Pain to that same test.
That man can
T-Pain
sing.
can sing.
That man can sing. I did not. I'll be honest with you. That Tiny Desk performance, and there was another one he did. I did not know this whole time that T-Pain could actually sing, and that's because once again of my ignorance of the mechanics of singing. Like I know a little bit about the mechanics of how to get those notes out, but when I see y'all in your element, I'm in such awe. Like I'm just like, I'm gonna get the hell out the way, and that's something that I hope that also as we're in the middle of this, what I think is a renaissance, as we're in the middle of a massive shift happening, and I think a lot of it has already been in motion, but I think this might have sped up a little bit of that as well, because look at all the culture conversations that are happening right now. Look at all the conversations about people fact checking. I said, y'all didn't care about facts until this battle happened, because I guarantee you, your favorite rapper leaned the hell out talking about all the lean that he drinking, and if he drank that amount, he took that amount of perks, he would not last. He would be dead before the song is over with. But y'all want to fact check now. Now all of a sudden y'all turn into detectives. You want to know if your rappers is telling the truth. Neither here nor there. Now we're having culture conversations, and I feel like along with culture conversations come the appreciation for those who do take the time to build real culture currency, those who do take the time to work on their craft. Because when I look at a Kendrick in the middle of this, I've said this many a times, he is a product of someone who did their homework. That is not the product of somebody that, you know what I'm saying? Let me look at your homework. This is the product of somebody who's done homework, and they're able to take references. Like when I listen to Not Like Us, bro, I have not heard enough people who are making the connection between a Not Like Us and some of like these old Corrupt records or some of these old Death Row records where they put bridges at the end of the disrespectful ass songs. They put bridges at the end of the disses because they know what that's going to do every time they perform. And so it's just so masterful how all this is happening, but I feel like it's shifting in that direction. What are your thoughts on that?
Specifically talking about the Not Like Us thing, another thing I feel like people are kind of glossing over is how he was able to captivate all of these different regional styles that are very West Coast.
Sure.
It's funny because people was like, oh, he's stealing stuff from Side Baby. I'm like, Detroit those is our cousins, and they like what we do. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So for Kendrick to hop on the DJ Mustard beat when he usually probably wouldn't, but then he gave us something that was educational. It's a bop. It got some nigga spirit in it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like all of that. I'm like, this is it.
When
like,
he started powering up towards it, he said, "Throw out the pack, nigga." I said, "Oh, something happened in that. Something happened." I said his eyes must have rolled back in that studio session because he said, "I'm gonna throw out that pack, nigga." I said, "Oh, I've seen this energy before. I've seen this in many different places, from LA to IE. I've seen this before." And he got into that. I was like, "Oh, you in trouble, Bucko. You are in trouble."
Yeah, but shout out to Drake for bringing unity in the city, man. Much love.
Yeah, that's a crazy shout out, by the way, but I appreciate it. So man, I wanna make sure that we leave some room for look at 8 people done left already. It's okay. It's all right. You thought you was gonna get a break today. They thought they was gonna come in here and get some education today and nothing else. They was like, no. They said
No.
that's a damn shame. I'm sorry for y'all. But with that said, man, so what do you kind of like as you're looking at the landscape as it is? I truly believe that folks are now starting to ask these questions and they're going to gravitate to what feels real. Obviously, you have been already cementing your feet for a long time, and that's been something that has always been your North Star. That's always been at the foundation of your music, is creating emotions through your music that feel real. Even if people will say things like, well, what kind of radio play is that going to get? What about da-da-da-da? Like, you have the ability to do all of that, but you still choose to make the records that you want to make that feel good to you. I feel like those people are going to be the ones that get paid off. I always say it about, my guy Triz. Huh? I'm here. I think you might have froze up on us. Hold on. You might have froze up on us. Yes, you did. I would try to turn the camera off and then turn it back on, and you should be good. Yeah, we'll just wait up. Okay, you should be good. Let me go ahead and extend that. There you go. Or you were here. All right. There we go. There we go. There you go. You good. You good. Audio's off. Your audio's off.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I don't know what just happened.
That was some Drake bots, bro. Told you. We got to stop talking about this.
Like,
we got to move on. Get his ass out of here. He making too many good points. He making too many good points. That's what they're trying to throw me off. In this current landscape where people seem to be changing their listening habits, where people seem to be changing their priorities, I tell you, bro, it's crazy seeing the phenomenon of not just the Not Like Us record, but also Meet the Grams. And I'm seeing people who are crying to music. And I can't remember the last time I saw people publicly sharing that about a hip hop record that wasn't an abstract or independent or underground record. To see something like this and people feel something, it's almost like you start to see this is more of a spiritual kind of conversation and almost an awakening of some kind for some people where they're like, I have been under hypnosis. I allowed what was being presented to me to be the only thing I consume. And it's almost like the difference between when you eating processed food your whole life and then somebody gives you a home cooked meal and you're like, oh, that's what food's supposed to taste like. I wonder, where do you kind of see, or if you even see a shift, what do you kind of see your place in all this, and how does that kind of have you? Are you readjusting? Are you just saying, no, we're gonna do the same thing that allowed us to be in the position we're in today?
Well, I was always unwavering with my sound. You know what I'm saying? So I went through the 10 years of people telling me like, yeah, I like your music, but I listen to your music when I'm cleaning my house or something like that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, because my music is not the music that you would usually want to play in the club. And mind you, that's debatable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But because usually you're not going to play Iman Omari in the club, then I kind of get almost kicked to the side. You know what I'm saying? By a lot of people that are, of the culture, the younger generation. But I think now what Kendrick is doing is he's gonna force the issue to be like, it's cool again to feel emotions when you listen to music.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the music that I make is emotionally driven. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, let's get back to that. You know what I'm saying? Because how you gonna be the thuggish dude all day, and when you get to your woman, what you gonna play? Like murder, murder, kill, kill. You gotta play some sexy stuff for your lady, dude.
Yeah, see, that's and that's the part that I'm more excited about than anything else, is that not only will there be an economy, not only will there be a currency for this type of music, it's always been there, but we had to, we kind of had to play a lot of those social media games and content games in order to get access, or sometimes even the feature games some people will play to get to that situation. But I really feel like there is going to be now a void that says, where do I find others who are like this? And if they have to continue to look outside of their televisions, outside of their, playlists on their streaming platforms, they'll navigate elsewhere. And I'm excited that there's an abundance of that. And there are people like yourself, like myself, like you said, that were unwavering. I've been told 2 or 3 times how old school my flow is over these beats that I rapped over for this last project. And I'm like, have you ever thought for a second? Maybe that's what makes me feel good. Have you ever thought for a second, maybe I create these things from a very authentic place that is first honest to me? I got to co-sign this shit first. I got to listen to this and be like, yo, you rocking with this? Hell yeah, I'm rocking with this. As long as I can feel like that and honestly walk away and know what comes along with that and know the ceilings that may exist, who is anybody to change that? So I love that that your ability to stay on course and all of this, man.
Well, respectfully to a lot of the audience that listens to our music, I'm kind of not even mad at them, but they easily waver. They easily waver, right? But that's just par for the course. Why? Because the higher powers that be, they have the ability to make the bullshit music more visible. You know what I'm saying? The access to the bullshit is way more. It's easy to get to.
It's a great point.
Think about how easy it is for you to go get Taco Bell versus going to get organic anything. Bro. Organic costs more. Taco Bell, you get $1 taco. We don't know what type of mystery meat is in that shit, but you hungry.
I'll tell you what kind of it's called delicious. That's irresponsible of me. I'm sorry. You making a point though. You making a point. I'll sit up here and talk all kind of shit, but let my wife say, I don't feel like cooking. I think I'm gonna go to Taco Bell. I'll be like, all right, let me get a veggie Mexican pizza. Let me get a black bean burrito. Let me get a cheese quesadilla and a Mountain Dew cold blast, whatever that shit, Mountain Blue, whatever that shit. Get me, you know what the shit I'm talking about. But you're right.
Yeah, but again, and I want to say this too. I have a lot of grace for the audience that they don't know.
They don't
for
know.
that very reason. You know what I'm saying? Again, until you eat, some type of high profile, incredible 5-star Michelin meal.
No,
you know what I'm saying? You don't know. You might think that top ramen and shit like that is top tier.
That's top tier. Until you
know
have
what I'm
some
saying?
ramen out of my wife would be on that. I had gone through my whole life, and the only ramen that I had was out of that package with that salty ass little packet that I didn't know you ain't supposed to use the whole thing. That was normal in my house. So you use the whole damn thing. What you mean?
Yeah, use the whole thing.
The whole thing. And then now, like when I got older, I think when I got in my 30s, I tried to eat that shit again, and my body was like,
hypertension.
Bro, my nerves started kicking up. And so my wife took me out to a restaurant. I took her out to a restaurant, but she put me on to the restaurant, and she was like, here's what real traditional ramen tastes like when they prepare it a different way, and it's just different. And I think that's what's happening with these home-cooked meals, and you've created that as well. So one more question before we start getting into these questions from the community, and then play your music, because I want them to absolutely get to the thing that matters the most. Shout out to Bandcamp, because I'm gonna buy this and spend it on Bandcamp right now. With that said, man, always. With that said, man, so now with this headache that you're dealing with, I know you're looking at other distributors. I know you're like opening your options up to different things, dealing with streaming. How does this kind of have you looking at where things are going, especially as I look at some of these distributors that can't get away from the Spotify, bot detectors, the Spotify fines for if they find fake music or fake streams on your music. It just seems like they're trying to, in my opinion, it seems like they're trying to create a new gatekeeping, kind of how it was where if you didn't get signed, you weren't going to get the looks. And it feels like an evolution of that, to where now even Lou, what's his name? Lucian from UMG. He put out a statement where he was saying, "I think there's too much music being uploaded, and we need to find a way to fix that." So when I'm seeing this quality control they're doing with even independent artists that have been established, I wonder, what is sort of your zoomed out point of view, and how are you kind of feeling about the direction you see these things heading?
Well, my zoomed out point of view is that now, because some of these bigger artists are talking about something that you've been talking about, Curtis, they're talking about do it yourself right now, right? So everybody's talking about direct to consumer and how do I get my music to them as fast as if I put the shit up on Spotify.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So because that conversation is coming up more, the people that are the consumers of the music, they're starting to get more acclimated to that. So, I think for me, what I'm going to do as an artist is just, keep my ears to the streets. You pay attention and see what the other cats in your world as far as music are doing, so that way you can see what's working and what's not working. You know what I'm saying? Because again, for me, I told you I was real comfortable on streams for a long time.
Sure.
But now I'm in a place to where it's like, okay, that's not comfortable anymore. So now it's time to pivot. But I take it with a grain of salt, because I'm like, you can't think just because you had a good run that it's going to be forever.
It's going to be forever. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You're going to have to adjust. So so now I'm just going to, like I said, man, I'm just going to adjust with the times.
Yeah.
That's what we do as artists. We got to document the times, and we of course have to adjust with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's
what I'm gonna do.
You gotta
Iman Omari.com, baby. That's where all my shit about to be.
Hey, and the information has been up there. It's also down below in the show notes. So make sure you go in the description and go ahead and follow all of this. I'm going to play a record in here in a second, but I want to make sure that I get any questions that you guys have, maybe even about the way that he's maneuvered this industry. Please do not sleep on this conversation. If you're a producer, if you're a singer yourself, if you're having issues with networking, if you're having issues with how do you handle yourselves in rooms where people, will disrespect you if you don't demand respect. This is someone also too. Gear. We haven't even talked gear. What do you use, man? What do you use for those who don't know kind of your setup? Because I mean, you make very soulful music, and it's like when I see the tools, I'm like, you got a little bit of everything, bro. So what is it that you do?
So right now, I'm using really this cheap mic. It's a cheap mic, bro, off of Amazon. I can't think of the name right now because I'm not looking at it. But I use two different mics. That little cheap mic, it's a green and gold mic. I forgot what it's called. I think it's like the MZX, something like that. Okay. Then I also use this Audio Technica mic. But that is all being shot into my mic pre, right? So the mic pre I'm using is a DPX 286 emulation, right? Because the OG one had tubes. This one has a motherboard. And it's the one that DJ Quick used to use for his vocals, right? So I'm using that, and then I'm going into my my 176 UAD interface, right? Okay. I'm using Logic, I'm using Ableton, I'm using Pro Tools, and Serato Studio.
Sheesh.
Yeah. And then I got my talk box and a couple of little outboard keyboards.
You know, that can't be no added, like a little bonus. I just do a little bit of talk. Ain't no such thing as a little bit of talk box. You know, I just do a little bit of this expensive ass shit that you must see all that.
A little razzle dazzle, you know what I'm saying?
I love it. Here we got some questions here for you. And man, we really appreciate your time and just being as transparent about this situation. We hate that you're going through it, but we hope that at least it can speed up the process for you, and then also to warn some of the artists in here that you need to understand. I'm not in here fear mongering with these videos, because everything that I've talked about has come to pass up until now. So when you're hearing,
and let me just say for you, Curtis, just so everybody knows, when I started seeing Curtis talk about this shit with the distro kid in the TuneCore, I hit him up.
Yeah,
like, hey, I'm in support of you. What you're talking about is for facts. And we got a bang for the independent artists. So and I'm not doing this just because I like his channel. I'm just doing this because mainly I like what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
And that means the most because, bro, when I first came, everybody know the story. When I first started talking about this, me just pulling my music from streaming because I wanted to test things, I did not expect such a aggressive and angry response from people where I'm like, dog, y'all are NPCs. You're not even like main characters, but you're trying to make yourself a main character in this, and you want me to feel guilty about experimenting with my business, which we're supposed to be doing, right? Sometimes you knock it out the park. Sometimes you get it dead ass wrong. Thankfully, this is one of those where I'm like, man, I just sold out of the home movies VHS box bundles. I'm like, I was telling my wife, I was like, I'm glad that we're in a time right now that's forcing me to be more creative because I can't lean on my streaming like I used to before. I just feel like it made me so lazy. But now I'm like, what's the idea for packaging is such a beautiful question I have to ask myself before I get started with a rollout. First question here is from Larry Giles. Shout out to you. Thank you for this question. He said, how do you get your CDs distributed, Iman? Do you use on-demand services or do you get a certain amount made? How do you do it? Or do you get it done?
Similar to how I would get a vinyl made, you need to find a company that makes CDs, right? And, you know, they're probably going to have a certain amount. You have to buy at least 100 and we'll give it to you for this price. You know, sometimes they have deals, which you should always get on their, like, you know, their little mailing list, because sometimes they have deals. Like right now, if you pay $150, we'll give you 150 CDs with the crystalling and all that. Mind you, I would advise you to not necessarily use CDs unless you have a dope idea that I don't know about, then don't listen to me. I would say tape or vinyl, because I don't know, those nostalgic things are getting more burned right now.
It's interesting.
I don't feel like CDs are old enough yet. You know what I'm saying?
No, I like that approach because it leans in on the idea that these, not the idea, but the perspective that these are novelty items that a lot of people are buying, most times with no intent to actually play them, unless they're collectors, unless there's somebody who has the equipment property, you know, to spin a vinyl record player and whatnot, or has, you know, a tape player. Most folks are buying these in the same way that they buy, I would argue, like an art piece. Like I have this art piece with this little boy who's meditating. That's a conversation starter as soon as somebody comes into this. Man, who painted that? What made you get that? Do you meditate? Like, these are things that we get tattoos sometimes about, is the storylines that come along with that. So I think that as long as people start thinking about physical media from the perspective of two things that I think are biggest. One being, this is a novelty item that people are going to purchase to put up in their household sometimes. Some people do actually play it, of course, but most folks are going to use it as the artwork. I got your autograph, right? Think about people who got an autograph right now from Nipsey, and it was off of a piece of paper, like a napkin. That napkin is the most valuable napkin that you have in your possession now. That's not going to make you say, well, I'm not going to use this napkin. It has ink on it. It's like, that's not the function of it. Second thing being, the way that these video game companies are, I don't know if you've been checking this out, how they're kind of like taking away games that people have paid for, and they're changing their models and subscription models around it. I can't give you specifics on it, but I was reading about it in an article where they're basically changing what you originally paid for. And if you don't sign up for their subscription service, which they're trying to force upon you, then you won't have access to some of these things. Some of these companies go belly up, video game companies, and they decide they want to remove the game from being online, so they have to do no customer service. Well, sucks for the people who are relying upon that cloud-based game. Now I have no access to this thing that I've bought. When I look at that, I know it's only a matter of time before it comes to music. And we see it already when albums like for instance, Kanye, how many different versions of, the last projects that he's been doing are the vultures when he has samples that weren't cleared. So that means that project that you bought, you will never have access to the same exact one. But when you get physical, when you get physical, you you always got
just that.
It's exactly that. And even like the more flexible ones, the joints, the CDs, and even like the business USB cards give you an opportunity to give somebody that experience that nobody can delete and they can't stream.
And you know what, Curtis, to add another thing onto the CD thing, let's say you don't have any capital in order to pay for it, right? What you could do is you could set up a site where you let the fans know that 3 months out from this date that we have it for sale, we'll start sending out. But then what you could do is, let's say you sold out the first 30 days. Right. Now you have the money to go hurry up and make it the next month and then be sending it to people, and then everything worked out. Mind you, you didn't even have the money when you started.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something to think about as well. I don't know who asked that, but if you ever want to come in my DMs, I can send you some links to some companies. I just, we doing this interview, so it's hard for me to just pull it up in my mind.
Absolutely. So 311 said, what draws you into working? I'm assuming working with a new artist.
Shout out 311 here in my Discord. What draws me in to working with a new artist is talent. Simply, your ability to convey whatever it is you're trying to convey. It doesn't matter what genre it's in. If it's some good music, I'm gonna notice. I'm gonna be like, hey man, I like what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I would like to work with you because, again, me personally, I am striving for musical greatness. And the only way we get there is being a bit methodical about who you work with and how you work with these people.
Sure. And man, it was crazy in the midst of me having this crazy conversation with Daylight's mom. And shout out to Daylight. He was making a lot of points. And one of them that really stuck with me is, if what we're seeing follows course in terms of like the shift, even for corporate entities to want to look for artists that are more in line with the kind of music that people are embracing right now in the middle of this back and forth, then that means that there's going to be financially lucrative business opportunities for lyricists and those who represent the new modern look of that. If that's the case, where does that leave a lot of the little rappers or the rappers who ended up becoming like clones of whoever was there before them that was popular? When they were running that play, they were like, okay, we got a little Uzi Vert. Let's see if we can get another little Uzi pistol. Let's see if we can get this guy. Let's get it. Those artists now have to either go find a new thing. I got this theory. Them niggas got a spirit. They don't even know they got a spirit. You know what that spirit I call? It's the same spirit that happened when 8 Mile came out and niggas turned into battle rappers. It's the same spirit that happened when N1 mixtapes dropped. Everybody thought they was hot sauce. It's that spirit. It's a spirit. Every time they get excited, they're like, I think I want to do this. They had TikTok and they was like, yo, I think I'm finna rap. Like, bro, I'm going viral just off these freestyles. I think I'm ready. And these labels were signing people and putting their dumb ass on Rolling Loud stages because they went viral on TikTok. And
Yeah, but they looking at the numbers. You know, it's all about the numbers for them. It has nothing to do with the culture or anything like that. It's about the numbers for them.
Well, I never,
but hold on. Let me say this: the biggest L you could take as an artist is sleeping on yourself. If you look at Tyler the Creator, imagine he was trying to do gun bars and shit like that when he was on his come up and he wasn't doing his Tyler shit.
Right.
Like we wouldn't have Tyler the Creator. You know what I'm saying?
Could you kind of talk to also, like, people don't realize how much pushback he got, you know, coming from, because he was representing Ladera Heights, right? He was coming out of Ladera Heights. And
yeah, Tyler's from the city. People was hating on him. They was like, these beats is like, you know, it's cool. It's kind of like some Pharrell shit, but nobody really want to fuck with this shit. And they all eating their words.
And I'm telling you, I was going through it when I took a break I burnt myself out from releasing the project in last November and then January. And like, I was not thinking straight, and I needed a break away from music. The first month I did nothing. Second month, I started second guessing whether or not I really wanted to do this. You know, at this stage of my life, am I tripping? Am I like just, you know, hyped up on? Then I sat there and I watched him do that Coachella performance. I watched Doja Cat's Coachella performance. Shout out to her as well. And I just saw, like, one, I had a deeper appreciation for crafting songs, because that's something that Tyler talks about, is that in the beginning, he wasn't really that good at creating songs and bridges and like taking those necessary steps to understand why this song works versus this song, why this is good in terms of a music video versus this one. And he said when he started to learn song structure, that changed so much of the way he made records. And I'm just telling you, man, ever since, I think he has a great catalog, but ever since Flower Boy, you just seen a whole nother artist. When I watched that performance, besides it being a crazy performance, just seeing, like, you stuck to your guns. You stuck to your guns, even when the city that you making look real good on these late night shows is, you know, in some segments kind of hating, like looking at him being like, that don't really represent, you know, that don't represent the city. They on some other shit. Them little kids is crazy. But now I look at it and I'm like, man, look at what they're all doing in their respective industries now.
Let me tell you why I was hating when I was looking at that performance, because I was there at Coachella.
Yeah.
I played Coachella with Party in my living room.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, shout out to Thurs. Yeah.
Shout out Party in my living room, brother Thurs. Put out that album, nigga. But anyways, so when I was watching it, the reason why I was hating it is not hating it, but hating is because I was connected to a group that was on the come up when our Future was on the come up in LA, right? And the one thing that the group I was in did is they veered off from our sound. And we all split up, right? Yeah. Our Future, they ended up splitting up too, but they didn't veer off from that sound. Right. And look where they are.
They are.
So,
again. Uh-oh. We might have lost them. We might have lost you. We'll let him reconnect right now. But no, he's making a lot of valid points in that we're living in a time now where it's like, man, you really do. Oh, there you go. You back.
I don't know why Zoom hates me, but yeah.
Nah, it ain't sure. It's the Drake boss. I told you. As soon as you said, as soon as they heard this nigga can't sing by a singer, you said too much. Nah, hey, go cut that shit. Go cut that shit off.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I was hating, because I was like, wow, like this brother really stuck with his guns, and we're clowns because we didn't stick with what we was doing. You know what I'm saying? Now Iman did, but my group did not. And I'll spare the group name for everybody.
No, but you're good, because you know what? That's a very common story that you hear about groups, because a lot of folks, Hawthorne, that's what it was, right? You hear a lot of folks that do that, right? Where they veer off because. And some of that, honestly, is not necessarily just their fault of them, you know, being pulled. Sometimes people are telling them, trusted people, smart people in this industry are telling them, there's no way that shit you're currently working on is going to work. I remember when they did it. Shout out to the homie Triz. I remember when they did with Triz, he was making like these like West Coast type of records that felt like the golden age of West Coast records. He was rapping over these beats that sounded like that sound. And it was at a time where it was really, really kind of sketchy, because there was the new West versus the old West. Remember that whole thing that happened? I forget what year that was. When it was happening, he stuck to his guns, he stuck to his sound, and in doing that, now it allowed people to grow with that sound and say, okay, I've been there since the early years. And I know you've done that in so many different ways, but I love the fact that you've done that doing it your own way. And it's the reason why some people are going to be able to survive this next direction, and some other people are going to struggle, I think.
Yeah, they definitely will. But again, don't get into this music shit unless you really love it, because it can get disheartening quickly.
Man, nah, for real. Yeah, one of my former managers, shout out Salas, he said, if you came here to do this, he said, if you came here to make money, he said, you chose the wrong profession. He said, you came here to, no, he said, he said, if you came here for professionalism, you chose the wrong profession. He said, go sit your ass down and eat a vegan burger and calm your ass down. He told me one time, because I was in the middle of like just being angry about some shit. You know, my young beige rage. I speak fluent in beige rage.
Beige rage is great.
Yeah. So like people think I'll be clowning Drake. You don't understand. Sometimes I'm clowning a younger me because I see the beige rage existing. I'm like, oh, you beige raging again. But I say that to say that.
Shout out to Mr. Jones that just said that about energy, man. I seen that. Much love to you, man. I appreciate you.
Had to make sure we highlighted that. But man, with that said, I believe we had one more question here, and I want to go ahead and start playing his music, because y'all definitely got to go support my guy's project and just follow up on whatever social medias that you're on. I got a few different options, plus the website sitting down there in the description that you definitely need to check into. Let me get this one last question and kind of float it up here to the top. But my guy, Chris AK, where was it at? He said, the question I have is recently he finished his admin on publishing as an LLC. Congratulations. I have been wondering if I can set up writers publishing as LLCs under that.
To make sure they could get paid, properly paid.
Properly paid.
I feel like you can. Let's say if I got Iman Omari, right? Mm-hmm. But then I got Iman, EMON. Those are two separate entities. Mm-hmm. So I can kind of have those entities working like how I want. I would also tell you, Chris, if you could follow me and hit me up on DM. Oh, here we go with the Zoom shit. But if you can hit me up on DM, I can get more detail with my answer to you, because I kind of know what you're talking about. But like I said, I want to get you the proper info. But I know you can have two separate entities and you can make it work out like that.
I thought I broke something. I said, "Why? It's like got fireworks behind them. What I do?"
Nah, because when you do this, like it does stuff. Like, see, like,
I hate them. I hate it here. What made what professional in there that know damn well what Zoom being made for said, let's add a little spat, a little razzmatazz to it. I got an idea. How about every time you put your thumbs up, some goofy shit like this happens? Fireworks. That shit pisses me off. I don't know why that made me so angry. That's that beige rage. I told you. I got to go to the doctor for that. That's crazy. Man, can we play some music by my guy Iman Omari? Have y'all not been blessed with so much amazing information and some absolute truth? Man, I'm glad that you were able to tell that journey. I hate that you're going through that situation, but I am glad that it's coming closer to a resolution, and we absolutely wish you the best and with all of that, man. So I want to play a particular record that you sent me super early in the process. One, because it's an amazing record, and two, because it features the homie Javante, man. I know Javante. Man, folks don't know, man. Before the TDE days, Javante was coming over my house with the homie. Shout out to homie Grim. He came over the house when he was part of a label called Street Beat Entertainment, and he was with Ab-Soul at that time too. And he came over the house, and like, it's just crazy because I'm like, bro, this dude used to come to my grandma's patio. Soul used to come to my grandma's patio. And I'm like, these are not normal stories, but they're very regular where we're at, because a lot of folks go to high school together. A lot of folks, you be in these circles, you see people a lot of times, in a given week of doing events. But with that said, man, I want to play this record, and anything you want to say about this record before we go ahead and spin? This is called My Lady, and this is off the new project, Sunday Morning Rise. I'm going to put it on the screen as you talk about it.
All of the women go listen to this project. If you a man, play this with your girlfriend. I promise you something gonna happen at the end of the night and you gonna thank me.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. Hold on. That's my bad. Look. He ain't lying. Look, he ain't lying.
You know what I'm saying? Look, let me tell you, get a little bit of champagne. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Put on some of that cologne. You know, just play the record all the way through.
So champagne. So I shouldn't go get my Colorasi is what you telling me, huh? No Colorasi.
Colorasi is low key kind of ratchet. Don't get that.
No Parmesan for her. Okay.
No, Parmesan is top tier nigga though. Like, don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, that was a younger time. Courtesy, you know.
But no, y'all can get this project on every streaming platform except Spotify, of course. And you can also go to my website, ImanOmari.com, or you can go to Bandcamp. You know, ImanOmari.bandcamp, however they do it. Just look up Iman Omari on Bandcamp.
Whatever you kids doing right now. Whatever you kids doing nowadays, just don't go oppify. Don't go oppify. Go support this brother. Please go support him. And I think that I don't have to even say please, because once you hear the music, it's going to be a no-brainer. You got to support the folks who are out here. I think we spend so much time complaining about the people who are not doing it right. What happens when you meet the people who are doing it right and it hits you at your core? You got to do whatever you can to ensure that they're taking care of the overhead, because this shit is expensive. With that said, this is My Lady featuring Javante by Iman Omari off the Saturday Morning Rise project. Take a listen.
In the stillness of night, I want you closer, girl. I'm in search of your guiding light. You gotta see, there's not another good for each other like you and me. As long as your hands in mine, girl, we gon' work it out. Without you, then who am I, girl? We gon' work it out. Oh, life is a winding road, girl, we gon' work it out. And all through the highs and lows, girl, we gon' work it out. We gon' work it out. Girl, you know that girl, you're my lady. I'm so proud of you and our love for you, lady. Don't you know that my love is never fading? Girl, you know that girl, you're my lady. Meant it when I said forever, baby. 'Cause I'm really loving you're my lady. I'm sure about us ain't a maybe. The feelings go so deep it's no escaping. You be on the run when things get crazy, but you know you got a home in you and me. As long as your hands in mine, we gon' make it work. No matter the paradigm, love should never hurt. Loving you, I got all the time. I'm always gon' put you first.
Come on, Javante.
Wanna get to the finish line further than where we were. We gon' work it out. Work it out. Girl, you're my lady. I'm so proud of you and our love for you, lady. Don't you know that my love
Now this is wild. Look at that comment.
Girl, you know that girl, you're my lady.
Oh my goodness. It hit different when it's real. It hit different when it's real. It hit different when the ingredients don't got processed in it. It hit different when look, wait a minute. We gonna have to run one more of these records. That was gonna be my choice. What's another record on here that gives them a good idea? We're gonna play one more.
Play Special.
Special? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All that I've been seeking is a reason to go deep in. Lately see you when I'm dreaming now. Yeah. I just wanna know when I can see if you got freak in you. Come on, girl, let me in. Let me show you what true lovers do. You got the fire, baby. I got the gas. Long as you're having a good time, we're gonna last all night. Give me the green, baby. I wanna go. Baby girl, you're a treasure. I wanna hold on. Girl, don't you know that? Girl, don't you know that you're special? Girl, don't you know that you're special? It's a blessing to have you. It's such a blessing, yeah, yeah. Girl, don't you know that you're special? So special. And it's a blessing to have you. Lead me to where I'm going.
What's up, you James?
Swim deep in your ocean. I'm exploring. Let me love you in slow motion. You got my devotion. You can trust me with your emotions. You're open and I'm hoping our chemistry leads to explosions. You got the fire, baby. I got the gas. Long as you're having a good time, we're gonna last all night. Give me the rain, baby. I wanna go. Baby girl, you're a treasure. I wanna hold on. Girl, don't you know that? Girl, don't you know that you're special? Special, so special. Yeah. And it's a blessing to have you. And it's a blessing. Girl, don't you know?
That is wild.
Girl, don't you know that you're special? Don't you know you're so special? And it's a blessing to have you.
Yeah, and that's who you've been casually having conversations with over the last hour and 15, man. We Saturday Morning Rise out right now on Bandcamp on his website. Someone asked about streaming. Something else I want to make sure we point out is that with Bandcamp, one thing I think that makes it really unique, I absolutely want you to support him on the website for sure. But I think one thing that is interesting about Bandcamp and why I am using it right now is, and I have a tutorial dropping this Friday actually about that, so look out for that, is that people are always talking about what about the convenience? What about the convenience? Well, when you support an artist on Bandcamp, you can sign up as a listener. When you sign up as a listener, you can download the free app, no subscription needed, and you get access to all the music that you've bought off of Bandcamp. If anything, until a new platform comes along, or until hopefully Bandcamp don't start acting up, but until that, just think of it as this is another app. You can go to Spotify, you can go to Apple Music, but if you want to go to independence, community base, go to the website first, and then secondly, I would definitely go onto Bandcamp, because once you have your albums, I buy albums on there all the time. I listen to it, and you can turn your phone off and it plays the same way uninterrupted like your Apple Music and Spotify. So it's up to me to put that information
One
up
thing
there.
I'll say is that if you're getting it off my website, you're getting the download, right? I know a lot of people are less acclimated to downloading things in 2024.
Which is crazy to hear that they're not acclimated with that, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but just know that you can download it after you bought it. So let's say you only on your phone, just know it's going to be in your downloads folder on your phone. So you can still play it, but it's just not going to be in like the easy iTunes place. But if you want to do that, like you said, just get the Bandcamp version, get the app, and just play it from there. And you'll be able to play it in the whip super easy. But you can still play it in your car if you get it off my website. Yeah. You just got to have a little more common sense with tech, and you'll be all right.
You know what, I look at that when I'm starting to get to that place in life where I'm looking at those problems as opportunities for teaching lessons, man, to do some more content where I can just, man, you know what? I'm coming to the conclusion that some of y'all have never had to download music and do anything with a digital download. Well, here's how you would do that with Apple or iTunes. Here's how you would do it with an Android. Is actually that's the one thing I miss about my Android is the ability to just drop music straight onto the phone was super easy. Now with I'm not an Apple user. I got an iPhone. I got the watch. I'm not an Apple user still. When it comes to the computer, I'm computer stupid. So when I start putting this music, through iTunes, and it's all of these like, no, you gotta link it up with the cloud. You gotta link it up with this, and I'm like, why can't I just drop it? What is going on? I get a little bit confused. So that's where Bandcamp gets in it. But please, just go to the place that you know that has been set up. So much work goes into these websites, and Iman Omari, man, is somebody that's always been a stand-up dude, and somebody that I know is gonna always get back to you. Not all these artists who have their websites gonna get back to you. This is somebody that's a stand-up dude and going to always do great business and to make amazing, fascinating music. One more time, give it up for Iman Omari, please. So, before we get up out of here, man, final words that you may have for the audience that have joined us, man. We got a good amount of folks in here, man. What are some final words that you got? Where can they find you? And just some parting words of inspiration that you could bestow upon them.
Well, again, like I said at the top of this, man, my name is Iman Omari. You can find me on, all the main places, Instagram, Twitter, blah, blah, blah. But what I want to say is, man, like if you're in this music industry and you feel like you have something special as far as like you sitting on some good music, stop sitting on that music, man, and put it out. And if there's some type of obstacle in your way, I promise you can figure it out. The internet is so powerful, and just use it to your advantage. Don't be afraid to ask questions to people that might seem scary to ask questions to, because you never know. You know what I'm saying? That could be the person that could literally alleviate all of your problems. So like to all of the people that's out here doing it on their own, like DIY, like my brothers coined it. Come on, man, please keep going. And don't be afraid to get out here and bang for what is your business, which is you as an artist.
That part, and I say, if you're afraid of no's right now, you haven't been told no enough, and you need to play catch up. If you're still afraid of no's, you've not been asking enough, and it's time to start getting and racking up those no's, because on the other side of that is going to be absolutely what you need, man. I appreciate you, bro, and this will not be the last time. Man, you got to stop threatening me with a good musical time, telling me all this shit about, man, Curtis, man, like, hey, man, we should link up and make some music. And I'm like, first time you said that shit, I was like, you don't make no music with me, man. You don't make no music with me. I don't care what I've done. I'm always looking at you like, you one of the superheroes in this shit, bro. Like, I really do. I'm really a fan of what you do. But when you told me that, I was like, man, he doing that shit they be doing in the city sometime, where they be like, man, this Bill. I'm like, we ain't gonna fucking Bill.
Nah, look.
But you really started setting dates in motion. I was like, oh, no, you for real.
Right now, y'all hearing him say this bullshit. I'm ready today. I will do a Zoom music session with him.
He said that.
We can do it live.
He said that. He said, hey, and we do it live. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't you dare. You gonna have me in here rapping like I'm here rapping in tongues, and I'm like, you be like, where does Curtis come from? I wasn't working with him on. Man,
I'm ready.
I'm ready too, bro. That's gotta happen. But I want to make sure this right now, ladies and gentlemen, the process, the focus right now, I should say, is this fantastic music that he made. I want you to go down a rabbit hole, because this brother has invested so much. Go to the YouTube channel as well, because you're streaming as well, right?
Yeah. I'm streaming on there.
Okay.
I've been pretty consistent. I'm gonna get more consistent, but yeah, like, I'm still a baby on the YouTube shit. But go to my Iman Omari YouTube channel as well.
There it is. That's in the description as well. Well, man, DIYers, just want to thank y'all once again for choosing to get this information. Hopefully you got some things to think about, especially as you're probably looking at a Ditto music. Ditto gotta do better. Ditto gotta do better. Ditto gotta do better. And I kind of feel like word may find their way after this conversation. Nonetheless, we appreciate you, Iman, and man, y'all have an amazing, productive weekend. I think I'm about to finally relax for the weekend. I think I am. I'll be lying to myself. But, man, thank you so much again, Iman.
Of course. Thank you, brother, man. Peace out.